Hello, hello. All right, they can hear you. All right. All right. Hello, everybody. Free agency is up and running. We're gonna kind of just give our reactions to a couple of the moves, and then if any moves happen while we're live here, we'll obviously talk about them. Just me and Zach today. So start off with the more pressing, or more, I guess, biggest moves of the day. Lots of moves have happened throughout the day, but the biggest probably being Sam Darnold signing a 3 year, $100.5 million deal with the Seahawks. This comes after they traded Geno Smith to the Raiders for a third round pick. Zach, what do you think of Darnold with the Seahawks?
I think it's a pretty solid move for the Seahawks with them trading Geno Smith. I mean, I'd say overall I like the deal. I just my thing is still I don't know if Sam Darnold is really going to be like a franchise answer for the Seahawks. I mean, I don't know. I'm still not totally sold on him. Um, but I mean, I think it was a pretty good move though. I would really like to see them be able to draft a quarterback. I mean, they really not this year, but I guess we'll see what next year brings. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's a solid deal. I think that they'll win games with Sam Darnold. I just don't really think he's going to be like their long term option. Is what I would.
Yeah, he's like another bridge guy, kind of how Geno
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
Like, yeah, you'll win games with him, but like, is he really? I mean, he was good this season, but in the biggest games, he kind of struggled.
mm-hmm.
So it's is he really going to be a guy that is going to really elevate your team a lot? And now without DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett's gone, you really just have JSN as there at receiver. So he really doesn't have many weapons. Obviously, not
Yeah.
as much as he did in Minnesota.
No.
So I am interested to see. I don't really understand the direction the Seahawks are going.
Yeah.
Like I don't. I really don't. I didn't really understand the Geno Smith trade, and then getting Sam Darnold's fine. I don't know if he's better than Geno Smith. Honestly, I think Geno Smith might be better.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know what their plan is, but I guess it doesn't. I mean, they'll still be a decent team, but I don't think this really makes them that much better.
No, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. That's like I don't really understand what their like plan for the future here is. Like they're kind of just. I mean, once they traded Geno Smith, I was like, okay, they're probably just blowing it up and gonna rebuild around JSN, which I think is what they should do.
Yeah,
But I don't really get. I mean, where are they picking this year again?
they're at. I think the towards the bottom. I can look.
Yeah, like I don't really know if. I don't know. The Seahawks are just in kind of an interesting spot right now.
Yeah,
I I feel like the Seahawks are kind of in one of those like
they're at pick 18.
yeah, like I feel like the Seahawks are kind of in that like painfully average
Yeah,
spot of professional sports teams right now, where you're not really bad enough to get like a franchise changing player through the draft, but you're also kind of just rolling with bridge guys and you're winning, you know, you're winning games, but you're not really,
yeah.
you know,
It's kind of like the Steelers are right now. Where like,
yeah,
yeah, they're winning, but like they're not really doing anything.
they're not really going
Yeah,
anywhere.
like they're having winning seasons, but they're not winning playoff games,
Yeah,
and they're not bad enough to like really get like they need a quarterback, and they're not bad enough to really get a high level quarterback.
yeah,
So that's kind of where the Seahawks have been. I mean, since Russ, they got Geno, and he was a pleasant surprise, but
yeah,
they've kind of been floating around that like. What I think their best season was I think they won 10 games Geno's first year.
yeah. They're really kind of just in that like nine or
And
ten
then they're
area.
yeah, so now they're just kind of floating in that 8 to 10 win area, which is fine. But
It's just
I don't
like
know if this team's gonna win a playoff game or not is the big thing
yeah,
because I don't know how much Geno or not Geno Darnold really elevates this team more than Geno would have, especially now losing DK Metcalf.
Yeah, I think it's fine,
Yeah,
but I just don't really know what it's gonna
I
do
feel like
for
it's
him.
kind of like a lateral move.
Yeah, that's what I would. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's definitely a lateral move, and I mean it might even be a little bit of a downgrade too because Sam Darnold has only had one good year in a very good system with the best one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Yeah,
So like, I mean he really might not be like you said. He really might not be better than Geno Smith.
yeah.
Like
I don't know. I guess we'll find
I
out.
guess for the Raiders though, Geno Smith's getting back with
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll, so I guess that's I mean
No, yeah, that was a big move for the Raiders because
yeah.
I mean they only have Aiden O'Connell on the roster
Yeah.
quarterback wise, and then they were drafting at 6, which I mean a quarterback could be in play, but there's no guarantee that a quarterback's even there.
There's really only two quarterbacks this year that are worthy of the first round, anyways.
Yeah.
If even
And there's no guarantee that either of them would fall to 6.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of interesting. I felt like they'd always kind of been in the veteran market, but I think them getting Geno definitely helps them.
Yeah.
Now at pick 6, you can go with like skill position guys like Ashton Genty,
Yeah.
or kind of help build that kind of round out that offense. But
Yeah.
no, I mean obviously Geno's not the long term guy there. They
Yeah.
still need to probably draft somebody in
Yeah.
the near future, but in a year where the quarterback market or there's not many quarterbacks in the draft and there's not
Mhm.
many great quarterbacks in free agency,
Yeah.
I think only having to give up a third for a guy who's probably arguably top 15, top 16 guy,
Yeah.
depending on
Probably.
who
Yeah.
you talk to,
Yeah.
I think it's a solid move, and I think Brady is starting to kind of build this team out how they've kind of given him the keys, so he's
Mhm.
starting to build it out how he wants, and obviously Pete Carroll and Geno Smith are familiar with each other.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings. Obviously, Geno had his best year with Carroll,
Yep.
so we'll see.
Not
I mean,
by far. Yeah.
I don't think anyone in the AFC is anywhere close to being like scared of the Raiders. But,
No, definitely not.
but I mean, if they're able to nail the draft this year, and in the last 2 drafts you draft Brock Bowers, then let's just say for the sake of the argument, Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
That's 2 premier offensive pieces that you can now use to, hopefully, when you get that young franchise quarterback, hopefully those guys will be kind of hitting their peaks, and
Yeah.
then you can start having legitimate talks about them being a legitimate team. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think obviously Geno Smith probably raises their win total by probably 2 or 3 games potentially,
Oh, I'd say
just
yeah.
because Aiden O'Connell's not great.
I mean, what they won this year? How many they win? They won
Well, they got picked 6, so like 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Yeah. Yeah. I would. Yeah. I would say you
So,
probably put
I
them in
mean,
like the 6, 7 range.
Depending
maybe.
on what moves they make here in the rest of free agency and
draft.
draft wise,
Yeah.
they could definitely fall in that. And only having to give up a 3rd-round pick really isn't that.
Yeah. That
horrible.
I would say that's a worthwhile thing for the
Yeah,
Raiders
absolutely.
for sure.
I mean, the Steelers gave up a 2nd for DK Metcalf, so
Yeah.
And-
That's kind of
a team that needed a quarterback desperately, giving up a 3rd isn't too horrible.
yeah. It's a little bit. It's odder for the Seahawks by far than it is the Raiders.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't really see the direction, but I guess we'll find out. Another quarterback that's on the move, Justin Fields, took a 2-year, $40 million deal with the Jets, moving
Yeah.
on from the Steelers. How we feeling about that? Obviously, being Ohio State fans, we know Justin Fields very well, but kind of has struggled to find his footing in the NFL. Had a good season relative to what he's been putting up last year in the 6 games that the Steelers actually played him in.
Yeah.
Did fairly well in those games, and obviously enough for the Jets to take a chance on him because now they don't have Aaron Rodgers and they released Devontae Adams, so they're kind of going in a new direction. But
Mhm.
they're hoping that Fields can be their guy, which is funny because they had a chance to draft him
Yeah.
and they passed on him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They did.
it comes full circle. What do you think about this move for the Jets?
I mean, I like the move. Just getting him back with Garrett Wilson and some Ohio State guys, but I just really don't know. I just don't really know if I think Justin Fields is really that guy in the NFL. As much as it pains me to say, being an Ohio State guy, he was a stud at Ohio State, but I don't know if it really moves the needle that much for the Jets. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you'll probably get better play out of him than what you got out of Aaron Rodgers last year. I'd figure he did have his best season in the NFL with the Steelers last year. But keep in mind, the Steelers are, you know, very well coached, and it's a sound scheme and a sound like organization. The Jets are not sound in the slightest,
Yeah.
with a first year head coach in Aaron Glenn. So I don't really know, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it just because he's back with Garrett Wilson, but I don't really know if this is going to be, I mean, an answer. I mean, if he like if Justin Fields actually would turn a corner and become like a legitimate NFL starter, then it's a great move because he's only like 24. He's very young still, but I just don't know if I don't know if it does that much for the Jets. I mean,
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we haven't really seen Justin Fields play at the level you thought he was coming out of college,
yeah.
but he has played better, and I think this will probably be the most offensive talent he's had with him.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would
With
say
guys
talent
like
wise,
obviously
yeah.
Garrett Wilson, who he's familiar with. Brees Hall is a really good running
Uh-huh.
back. Odds are they'll probably bring in some more weapons in the draft. I mean, I've
Mhm.
heard like Tyler Warren kind of float around with them. So if they get
Yeah.
him, I mean that offense should be pretty decent. So Fields will have no excuse talent wise
No.
to do well. And I think, yeah, I don't think we look at Justin Fields now as a long term NFL starter.
Yeah.
But I do think a lot of teams still think he has a lot of potential and think that he can be something. Which, like you said, he's still super young,
Mhm.
and he brings a lot of what the modern day quarterback is. He's a run first guy.
Yeah.
Struggles sometimes with obviously the passing, but obviously we've seen he's capable of making those passes. But um, yeah, he's been a solid quarterback, but we'll see if he really makes if he can really find his footing with the Jets. Obviously, it's Ohio State, and I would love for him to kind of
Yeah.
stick somewhere. But
Yeah. He's definitely a very talented like athlete. I mean, he's got great tools athletically speaking, and yeah, I would definitely agree that this is by far the best like offensive weapon room that he's ever had in his career by far.
yeah,
Especially if they bring in Tyler Warren. I mean, that you're working with a pretty solid cast of offensive uh, players here. So, um, yeah, I don't know about Justin Fields. I'm still not. I don't know yet.
yeah.
You know? But
Well,
I would say overall, I think it's a pretty decent move. I would
Yeah.
say. I mean, it's I mean, what they signed him for 2 years, 40 million. I mean, it's really
no, not too bad.
not too bad of a deal in that sense. So I mean, you're getting a guy who's going to be probably he'll be a starter and he'll probably give you better play than what you've had in recent years at least. So
Yeah,
um,
you would hope so.
yeah, so I think it's a decent move for the Jets. You're not really giving that much up for it, so I would say it's decent.
Breaking news here from Schefter: Josh Sweat just signed a 4-year, $76 million deal with the Cardinals. Cardinals adding probably the best edge rusher in this free agency class. Excuse me, and a team that really needed edge help. So I mean that's a good deal for
Yeah, that is a pretty good deal
for the
I like that
Cardinals.
for the Cardinals.
I mean, I think all of the really good defensive linemen are probably off the table now.
Pretty much, they're just all gone.
Sweat, and Milton Williams. We'll talk about here in a couple minutes,
Yep.
probably. But
Yeah,
yeah, that just came in. So yeah, I think that helps them a lot
yeah, that's a
because
good move.
they've really had some pass rushing issues
Mm-hmm.
that they've tried to fix in the draft, but none of the guys have really kind of panned out the way that they really wanted to.
I would say the Cardinals have a defensive issue.
Yeah, no,
They
for sure.
suck on defense, so I think that's definitely a really good move for them to get a more veteran player on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean they have Zaven Collins who is pretty good, but really outside of him on that defensive line, nobody worthwhile.
Yeah,
So getting Josh Sweat, I think, is huge to, like you said, help that defense that is pretty poor overall.
mm-hmm.
And it's really not. I mean, that's not too bad of a contract. 76 million. That's probably
No.
about
Yeah.
20 something a year. So honestly, honestly, not a terrible contract for a guy who was very effective in the Super Bowl at least this season. And
Yeah,
had a pretty
yeah.
good year overall. But let's go to the other Eagle defensive lineman that signed. Milton Williams signed with the New England Patriots. Patriots been super busy. Obviously, they had the most cap space in the
Oh
NFL.
man, yeah.
Getting Milton Williams, who's um, only 25, coming off his most productive season with the Eagles. I think that's a huge move for a team that really just needs talent
Mhm.
everywhere.
Yeah, this is, dude. The Patriots are in. I talked about the Patriots in the mock draft because I had their pick in the mock. I love like this is like a dream like offseason scenario for the Patriots, man. They got over $100 million and they got a top, and they got the fourth pick in the draft. Like this is just great. Like I would love to be the Patriots right now. So that's definitely a huge pickup. That's a guy that we were saying the Bengals should target, but obviously they wouldn't.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, definitely a huge defensive line anchor for him, and like you said, a team that really, really just needs players everywhere outside of quarterback.
yeah, and
So I guess they have Christian Gonzalez at corner, but even outside of him too,
yeah,
Yeah, definitely a really good move for the defensive line for the Patriots, I'd say.
yeah. Well, and that helps because they've got. Obviously they traded Matthew Judon,
Yeah.
so they lost a big edge rusher, big defensive lineman there, and then Christian Barmore, who's been probably their best interior guy, suffered from blood clots this year, so
Oh
his
yeah.
future is kind of unknown. So bringing in Milton Williams, he's young, he fits the timeline of this team, and he's a very good player. And so I think with Vrabel's defense, I think he
Hmm.
could definitely help um, with with that and kind of help build that foundation of the trenches, which I believe Vrabel will probably try to do.
Yeah, for sure.
But that wasn't the only move that the Patriots made. They got Carlton Davis.
Yep.
They
Yep. That's
paid
a good move
him.
as well.
They paid Harold Landry, and they brought in Morgan Moses. So,
Jeez.
um,
Yeah, the Patriots are rolling, man. Morgan Moses is a huge piece for that offensive line that wasn't very good. And you know what? We were talking about in the mock draft too. It's like, oh, like they should probably go offensive tackle with their fourth overall pick. They picked up Morgan Moses now. In my mind, that frees them up even more to go out and get McMillan. So I'm a huge fan of the Patriots so far for this offseason. Um, um, Moses is a huge sign for him. Um, and then yeah, Carlton Davis, that's a big one too, because now you got a solid corner room with Carlton Davis and Christian Gonzalez. Those are both very good players. That's another guy that I said the Bengals should go after. So the Patriots are getting very good players right now. I'm a fan of Mike Vrabel as a head coach too. So I really like what the Patriots are doing right now.
yeah, no, they're definitely making the most of their cap space for sure, and I'm sure they're not done.
Oh, definitely not.
But yeah, I think the moves that they have made have been good. Obviously, Milton Williams being the big one. Harold Landry played for the Titans, so he already has familiarity with Vrabel. Carlton Davis is a good slot guy that they'll use alongside Christian Gonzalez. Um, so yeah, I think the Patriots are doing what you do when you have a young quarterback and a rookie contract is kind of build the team out, especially with as much cap space as they have.
Hmm.
And so they're doing a good job with
Yeah.
that. Um, Another move that just became final. Josh Palmer signed with the Bills. So
Yeah, that's a good move for the
they
Bills.
get a solid wide receiver there, 3 year, 36 million. He's been a solid guy for the Chargers for a while.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
on a team. I mean, he doesn't make them he doesn't elevate them a whole lot, but he's still a really good wide receiver, and could definitely kind of round out that room.
I really think the Bills are still kind of lacking in the receiving room. I mean, they still don't have like that guy.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
don't
it's
have a
just,
true
it's
one.
it's just it's kind of like the Packers. It's just a room full of a bunch of it's worse than the Packers, in my opinion. But it's really just a room of a bunch of guys who are all pretty decent receivers. Like none of them is like a one. Like they're all just pretty decent receivers, in my opinion. So, I it's a solid deal for him. I mean, you bring in a pretty talented guy, but I still just think it's really kind of just more of the same, maybe, but a little bit better.
Yeah.
for the Bills. They still don't have a one, but I mean you can't really expect much because there wasn't a one in the market other than Chris Godwin,
Yeah.
who re-signed with the Buccaneers.
Yeah,
So
that was a big move. Him re-signing with the Bucks.
yeah,
I don't think a lot of
I was a
people
little
really.
surprised that
Yeah,
happened.
I think a lot of people were. It sounded like he was going to be out, but he took 20 million less. He left 20 million on the table
Yeah,
to stay in Tampa, so that was definitely big for them.
yeah,
Because before he got injured, he was one of the best receivers. He was
yeah.
having
He
a
was having a
great
heck
season.
of a year. Yeah,
And so pairing up him, obviously, again with Mike Evans is definitely going to help Baker Mayfield.
The
continue to
Buccaneers
do
might.
well.
I mean, the Buccaneers could be a pretty legit team again this year. I mean, they might be able to make another divisional, maybe even championship run
Yeah,
in the
mean, we'll
NFC
see.
next year. I mean, they're bringing pretty much everybody back.
Yeah, we'll
And,
see if losing Liam Cohen hurts them on the offensive
Yeah.
side, but they have the talent for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much just running it back, and then they added oh shoot, who was the edge rusher that they got?
Um, they got Hassan Reddick.
Hassan Reddick, yeah. So you're running it back with everybody that you had last year, pretty much, with the addition of Hassan Reddick. So I'm liking where the Buccaneers are at for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think Baker Mayfield's actually pretty legit, honestly. So I like the Buccaneers right now.
Yeah, no, they definitely
And you got
made good
Jalen
moves.
McMillan.
Yeah, McMillan had a good year.
He had a breakout back half of the season. So you're running a great receiving trio. A Hall of Famer in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin is a top tier receiver, and then you got a breakout rookie coming into his second year too. So I mean, their receiving room's gross. They got a great running back duo. Baker Mayfield's pretty legit. I think the Buccaneers could be a pretty dangerous team.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, they definitely they were really good last year, and hopefully, if Godwin can stay healthy, that it just adds another weapon to Baker, who had a phenomenal season last year.
Yeah,
Hassan Reddick brings another edge rusher who he didn't really play last year, but
yeah, he was on the Jets last year, right?
yeah, but he was like holding out for a new contract and had some contract disputes.
Because
but
that was like a big deal when the Jets signed him. Because he was coming off of that
really
Eagles
good year
Super Bowl
with the
performance.
Eagles. Yeah, he was really good with the Eagles.
Yeah, he was a force with the Eagles, and then he just didn't play at all for the Jets. So
Yeah.
I mean, dude, the Jets, like that's what I was saying with Justin Fields. Like the Jets are just such a toxic. Like, I mean, it's just like so bad over there in the New York Jets organization. Like they have a star-studded cast of on the offensive and really the defensive side, and they all underperform.
Yeah.
So it's like the Jets is just not a good place to play football. But I think Hassan Reddick going to the Buccaneers, I think that could be a pretty huge move too. Because how old is Hassan Reddick?
30.
Okay, so he's still got some time probably. I mean, we'll see how he comes off of basically a year off, but I really like what I mean, they've only made 2 moves, but I really like it so far.
Yeah.
So
I think another NFC team that's really kind of catapulted themselves potentially into being a really, really good team is the Chicago Bears.
yeah, they're
brought
making
in-
moves.
Brought in Joe Tooney a couple days ago, traded for Jonah Jackson, and then they just signed Drew Dahlman for 3 years, $42 million. He was the Falcons center. I think he was the best center left on the market. And they just got defensive end Deo Adenibu from the Colts. So he adds another pass rusher, and then they kind of shored up that offensive line that was really bad last year.
Where did Darius Slay go?
Slay, let me look.
I thought he went to the Bears, but I think I might have read it wrong. I don't know.
Steelers.
I thought it was the Bears. No, but yeah, the Bears are they're definitely retooling the offensive line, which is what you should do when you have a rookie quarterback that's talented that was running for his life last season. So they're retooling the O line. They got a very good receiving room with Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Romo Dunze. And then I mean on the defensive side, getting edge rusher help, and their defense was actually pretty good last year. So
And now you're bringing Ben Johnson.
yeah, who will elevate the play of Caleb? Because Caleb Williams didn't really. He was he was just so hit or miss last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just it was the
Well, I think majority of that was because he was running for his life half the time.
yeah. There was just some extremely inconsistent play out of Caleb Williams. It was like a couple like really good, like wow, that's a great performance, and a couple like that's dog crap.
Yeah.
So I think that retooling the offensive line is going to be a huge help for him. But really, yeah, Ben Johnson's the biggest thing there. I mean, he's going to just unlock this offense that already has a lot of talent,
Yeah.
and hopefully, be able to take Caleb Williams to the next level. And I mean, really, at that point, the entire NFC North is all four of those teams are very legitimate teams that are very good and playoff contenders at that point. Then,
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely.
the NFC North is the best division in football, 100%. As long as Caleb Williams takes his, and the Bears take strides, I don't think it's a question
Yeah.
at that point because all four of those teams are,
Playoff teams.
Yeah.
Eventually. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, the Bears already had their tackles. Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright have been really good, but now they solidify the interior, bringing in Tooney, Dolman, Jackson.
yeah,
At least for this season, and you're hoping that Caleb Williams can take that next step, and hopefully Ben Johnson can kind of unlock him.
yeah.
And so I think this
They're
sets them up perfectly for the draft, sitting at pick
Yeah.
10 to go probably running back. Probably a guy like Ashton Genty or Amarian Hampton if they fall.
Yeah, because that's really the only position that they don't really have.
Yeah, because DeAndre Swift's there, but he's really not.
He had a pretty decent year last year, but I mean,
Yeah, but he's not. He's really not what he used to be.
no, yeah,
So bringing in,
or BPA at any position, honestly. At
Yeah.
that point,
so I mean, I think that definitely could be because on the defense is pretty good. I mean, you have Jalen Johnson, who's a great corner.
Yeah.
Montrezl Sweat, who's a game wrecker at defensive end. You got the middle linebackers, T.J. Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, who've been good. Kevin Byard and
Yeah.
Jaquan Brisker there in the secondary. So their defense is pretty good overall, I would say. They probably could use an interior defensive tackle.
yeah,
Because they have Andrew Billings and Javon Dexter, who aren't great, but so that could be maybe if like Mason Graham falls or something, maybe they
Yeah,
could look
yeah.
at him. But I think this definitely opens the door for them just to take BPA in the draft and kind of figure it out from there.
yeah,
And I mean, if they get Ashton Genty or
Yeah.
like Amarian Hampton, this offense could be real nice.
well, especially with Ben Johnson too. There,
yeah, he likes his running backs.
yeah,
So they could run a two-headed monster of him and Swift, and he's familiar with Swift because Swift was. Oh, actually, I don't know if Swift was at the Lions when Ben was there. I'm not sure. He
I don't know if he was or not.
might have missed him by a year or two, but
Yeah,
no, I think the Bears are really building something good.
Yeah.
and they've been making some definitely huge.
well, they just
moves.
signed Grady Jarrett too.
They did just sign Grady Jarrett, so that they don't need a defensive
Well,
tackle anymore.
yeah, that fixed that.
So that fixed the interior defensive line.
So they really are going to probably go just running back / BPA at 10.
Yeah, that's what.
Or do you trade down?
Potentially maybe, or I mean they could, if they really like one of these receivers, could go receiver again because Keelan Allen's probably has a year left maybe.
So you're thinking like at this you're looking at
Like
either
if Tet falls,
yeah,
say screw it.
I'd say screw it with him.
Because it's not like the argument is like, oh, well, you want to build in the trenches. They don't really need to. They've already kind of done that.
I mean, I guess it never hurts to just take another one in the trenches. If
Yeah,
you
no,
wanted to.
it definitely doesn't hurt for sure.
Yeah.
They probably still could use another guy just for depth purposes.
Yeah, it certainly would not hurt for them just to take another offensive or defensive lineman. It never really hurts that, honestly.
Yeah,
But-
I would say running
But
back.
they're
probably
they're
flies
so
up their
open. Though.
board.
Yeah, I mean, if Ashton Genty falls to 10, then I mean you just take him. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
you
it
have
takes
pretty much
pressure
every
off
other
the-
position filled for at least a year. What the?
What?
The Bengals just re-signed Samaje Perine to a 2-year, $3.8 million deal.
We brought Piron back. Let's go.
Why? To pair with Chase Brown? Have we even cut? Have we cut Zach Moss yet?
No,
Of course we haven't.
that's hilarious.
So the Bengals have T.
There's-
Higgins and Jamar Chase sitting in free agency, but
Piron.
the Bengals have T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Trey Hendrickson sitting up for extension And we've ignored those three and went to sign Samaje Perine, Cody Ford, and Jackson Kirtland. So
Yeah, making big moves.
And BJ Hill, I guess that was actually a pretty good move. So yeah, great moves for the Bengals there. Really, really, really good ownership, front office work there by the Bengals.
Yeah, great organization up there in Cincinnati.
But yeah, I really like what the Bears are doing right now. I think they could be a pretty scary team. They're definitely building something really good over in Chicago. So they're gonna be a fun team to keep an eye on for sure. I mean, even more so, if they do actually run away with if they do actually steal Ashton Genty or something, then you're like, oh crap, these guys could be legit,
Yeah, and bringing in Genty helps take pressure off of Caleb because he can run the ball a little bit more, and he doesn't have to drop back and pass it as much.
Yeah. I think you're looking at a actually legit football team, like playoff contending team at that point with the Bears.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we said the same thing last year, but obviously Matthew Eberflus, whatever dude's name is.
Matt Eberflus, yeah.
Sucks as a head coach. So.
Yeah, I was not hopping on the Bears train too much because number one, I was skeptical about Caleb Williams coming into the draft, I think he's talented. I think he's got the tools to be a solid NFL starting quarterback. I don't know if he's going to set the world on fire and be as good as what people thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to be a top 5 quarterback. He might not even get to the point of like Jane Daniels did this year, but I think Caleb Williams has the potential to be a very solid starting quarterback for the Bears for a long time. And
I agree.
And I mean, he could be better than Jared Goff for sure. So, I'm a little bit more open-minded about Caleb Williams now than I was going into the season last year. The biggest thing for me though with the Bears is it's just the Ben Johnson hiring. That's the biggest thing for me. Matt Eberflus, I have no clue why he was even employed last year.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson though, that's huge, and that is the main reason why I'm thinking the Bears are seriously building a contending team here because of Ben Johnson.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, we said last year that they were making jumps to potentially be like that playoff team, and I think now bringing in Ben Johnson and solidifying that offensive and defensive line, I think definitely could help them out a lot, especially like you said in a division as tough as the NFC North is.
Yeah.
I think they definitely are trending in the right direction for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, we'll see if how Ben Johnson does as a head coach because there's no guarantees.
No, yeah, but I think it's just
I feel pretty confident that he's going to do fairly well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if you're a Bears fan, I think future's bright, and you're pretty happy right now with the way that this offseason has been going for you for sure.
Yeah, it's just tough playing in a division with the Lions, who are from top to bottom one of the best, if not the best team in the. No, they're the Eagles. I think are better, but the Lions are
second.
Yeah, the Lions are probably
on paper.
On paper from top to bottom, the Lions are one of the best teams in the entire NFL, hands down. The Packers, I'm still totally in on Jordan Love. I really like the Packers. I like their head coach. I'm blanking out on his name. Matt LaFleur, that's right. I was picturing it. It's Matt something. Yeah, I like Matt LaFleur a lot. Like I said, big Jordan Love guy. So I really like the Packers. I think if the Packers get a solidified wide receiver 1, then they're going to be, I would also say, firmly in the conversation for contenders.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 teams that are in a contender conversation. And then you go to Minnesota, and you've got the second best receiver in the NFL. And then you've got a pretty solid defense, and you've got, in my opinion, one of the best coaches in the entire NFL.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how JJ does in his first official year.
Not a huge fan of him.
We'll see.
We'll see. He's in my opinion, very unproven. I don't know what to think about him. My main thing is Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, no, Kevin O'Connell, obviously, I mean, he resurrected Sam Darnold's career.
Yeah.
He's a quarterback wizard. So.
Yeah, so, and the Vikings are not a contending team, but they're still they're still a good. They're a team to be reckoned with. They're a good football team.
Yeah.
They are no slouch. But then you've got two legitimate contending teams.
Yeah.
So it's a brutal division, but I do think the Bears, if if all goes well with Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams continues to develop. I mean, the Bears could probably end up being like they could bump the Vikings down to I think the worst team in that division.
Yeah.
Because the Bears could legitimately be a playoff team with the moves they're making.
Yeah, for sure. I think for the Vikings, it just really depends on the play of JJ.
It does, yeah. If JJ McCarthy comes up, like if he shows up and is actually a legitimate franchise quarterback, then the Vikings are still in the conversation of. Well,
yeah. I mean,
I don't know if I want to say contender or not because they weren't even a contender last year. They really weren't. Let's be honest.
They'll be a playoff team.
They'll be a playoff team.
I mean, you still have.
They re-signed Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
So they got Aaron Jones. That was a good
as of right now. You still Flores as their defensive coordinator. So
yeah,
that defense should still.
Their defense was gross.
Defense should still be good.
Yeah, they're definitely. If JJ McCarthy steps in and plays good football, they're definitely a playoff team. So I mean, yeah, it's that division is. I mean, that's just a tough division, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be a fun division to watch though. But I'm kind of I was not a very big Caleb Williams fan in around draft time last year. I was a bigger Jaden Daniels fan. I thought Jaden Daniels was gonna be really good. But I'm starting to come around a little bit more to Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to kind of hop on the Bears train a little bit more now. The Ben Johnson one is really what did it for me. But I'm starting to be a little bit more like, all right, let's see the Bears turn it around here. I'm liking what they're doing.
Yeah.
So they're having a good offseason.
They are. They're doing real well.
Yeah.
So they've been very aggressive the last 2 years, which is what you need.
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah. If you want to win the NFL.
Some other moves.
Packers just got an offensive lineman.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's a good move.
He was a guard for the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's obviously good. Help protect. Help to protect Jordan Love more.
Yeah.
I don't really know anything about the guy, but apparently he's pretty good.
Yeah, it's just a good move to stack him on offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Get some more protection in there for Jordan Love because he had a little bit of a more inconsistent season this year.
Yeah. The Giants signed Paulson Adebo, who's a corner from the Saints. He had a pretty good season last year. He's young, so he kind of helps solidify that corner room. TJ Slate, who's that?
I don't know who that is. He is an ex-Packers defensive tackle.
Let's take a gander.
We're still not signing T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Trey Anderson.
Let's go to our Bengals beat writers.
It's a miracle that anybody would want to come play in Cincinnati with this god-awful ownership.
All right, Slayton is 6'4", 330, coming off his rookie deal in Green Bay. Started every game in the last 2 years. He played under new Bengals defensive line coach Jerry Montgomery there. A reunion as Bengals try to rebuild the defensive line.
Okay, so sounds like it's probably a decent signing.
So it's a 2-year deal, 15 and a half, so it's probably about 8 million a year.
Okay.
I can look up his stats maybe. But that's probably I don't know if the what is it, TJ Slayton.
TJ Slayton, yeah. Where's he from?
Florida. He went to Florida.
Okay. It's probably a decent signing.
Yeah, I mean his sack numbers are low.
Is he a
but
solid
he's only
run?
But he's 27.
Okay.
He's probably more of a run guy. It looks like.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah, I mean
in the AFC North.
Yeah, so. I mean 6'4", 330. Yeah, it's probably more. Of a run guy.
That's a big boy. That's a run guy.
Yeah, so.
I mean, he started every game for the last 2 years for the Packers, so I mean that's encouraging at least. I mean the Packers are a dang good football team the last 2 years with one of the better defenses.
So. Yeah, they've had some good defensive lines. So yeah, I mean, I mean, it's only 7 million for 2 years or whatever. So it's really, if he doesn't pan out, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah,
That's a short term contract.
pretty
And
light deal.
he's coming off of his rookie deal, which is, uh, I think the Bengals wanted to try to get guys who are coming off of their rookie deal and hopefully ascending.
Yeah.
And if he has, obviously he has our new defensive line coach. We worked with him before, so I'm sure he's familiar with that. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's not like a massive move, but
No.
they just need bodies on the defensive line, honestly. So if anybody's good or at least decent,
Yeah.
sure, as long as they're better than Sheldon Rankins. And speaking of Sheldon Rankins, he re-signed with the Texans.
Yeah, he did.
So
Speaking of Sheldon Rankins, he resigned with the Texans.
as long as he's better than Sheldon Rankins, then that's all I care about.
Yeah, I mean I don't really know anything about him. I'm not gonna be pleased with the Bengals until they re-sign the big three.
No, I agree.
It's just
Well, I heard T could get done Wednesday.
why Wednesday.
Well, it was either today or Wednesday, and it hasn't happened today yet. So that was what a guy who's very close to the Bengals organization said. It was either today or Wednesday would be when they get his deal done.
Wednesday it is then.
And then Jamar, I would believe, would be shortly after that.
And then Trey probably won't happen.
Yeah, I think the Bengals sitting on their butts, letting Myles Garrett get 40 mil, and
Yeah.
Max Crosby get his contract, just bumped Trey's price up. So
Yeah, that's
I have heard rumblings. I don't know how the validity of these, but that the Commanders are very interested and could be willing to trade their 29th overall pick for Trey.
I'd probably take that. I mean, I don't want Trey Hendrickson to leave, but if the Bengals are morons and refuse to pay him, then I guess you take a 29th overall pick.
Yeah, I mean, especially with this.
Now, then what we do is we package the 17th and the 29th up for one to Abdul Carter.
There's 0% chance that they do that. But you could still get a really good player at 29, especially in this draft on the defensive line.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you
Here's
could
the
you could double dip on defensive line.
Here's the Slayton guy in the red. That's Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Shoved in.
Yeah, I feel like he's definitely probably more of a run guy. But yeah, I mean you could double dip on the defensive line. Go take Michael Williams or somebody at 17, and then just kind of double dip on the best remaining tackle or edge at 29 if that's the route to go.
Yeah. No,
Or you could take a receiver at 29. I mean, there's who did we mock at? Who did we mock going to the we mocked him right before the Bills pick. You were like, Bills fans are furious right now.
Matthew Golden.
Yeah, Matthew Golden. You could take a receiver maybe.
Yeah.
Or a corner.
Yeah, I would probably stick on the defensive.
Really?
Yeah, I'd probably if they trade Trey,
Yeah.
we don't have an edge rusher.
Yeah, that's true.
On the
Even
roster.
if you like Michael.
Our edge rushers are Miles Murphy.
Oh Lord.
That's about it. So, I would probably go edge. I might even double dip in edge.
Yeah.
Like if you get Michael, who's more of a run defensive guy, and then you get like let's say James Pierce falls, you get him who's
Yeah.
a pass rushing guy, then
Yeah. I guess that's not all bad either.
or
yeah.
you go like Walter Nolan and an edge rusher or something.
Yeah, I guess it's yeah.
or
Yeah.
if a corner falls like Revel or Maxwell Hairston or something
Or
like
like
that.
in our mock, Malachi Starks fell.
Yeah, Starks falls. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think if you're going to trade Trey Hendrickson, I would probably be the most. I know getting a first round pick for him is tough.
Yeah.
Just because of his age and stuff. But I do think 29 is like you could with a team trying to really cement themselves as a like true NFC contender.
Yeah.
They would be all right with parting with that 29th pick.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, if they offer that and there's just no way that the Bengals are going to be able to keep Trey, I would probably do that because then you can just
Yeah.
get two young guys on the defensive line or get one young guy on defensive line and another really good defensive player.
Yeah.
And then you could go on from there in a draft that's really deep. I think.
Yeah, I think that's how I am. I think if the Bengals refuse, like if they continue to be deadbeats and refuse to re-sign Trey Henderson, then I would probably just take that 29th pick. Because I mean, you got 2 first-round picks this year. You know, like we were saying, you can double dip at defensive line or just you know D line and safety or corner or whatever. So yeah, if you're not going to re-sign Trey, then that's probably the best move to go. I'd say trade him to an NFC contender, get the first round pick.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be super upset about that. I mean, obviously, I don't want to lose Trey, but if I'm going to
Yeah.
lose him, I'd rather get as much value as you can, and I think that's probably the maximum value you would probably get out of him would be a low first.
Yeah,
But a team like Washington that's desperate to,
contend now because they're actually smart with their quarterback on a rookie deal.
yeah, like they
Yeah.
they could just be all right, whatever, we don't care.
Yeah,
But knowing the Bengals, they're not even going to ask for it.
no, because the Bengals ownership is the worst ownership in all of professional sports.
Let's see if we missed any moves. Jag signed a guard who started 23 games with the Jets.
Mm-hmm. Jags are an interesting team.
Jags also got Patrick McCarry from the Ravens. He's been solid, so they're fixing their guards.
I have no idea what to think about the Jags, man.
Well, I think the Jags are, they're being, I think, proactive.
Mm-hmm.
Like they cut Evan Ingram,
Yeah.
Scurf. They traded Christian Kirk, so they're kind of getting rid of some of these older guys. And I think they're just going to try to build around Trevor, Brian Thomas. Their defensive line's pretty good with Josh Hines Allen,
Yeah.
Trayvon Walker.
Uh-huh.
So I think they're just going to try to, offensively at least, try to build. Because it looks like they're looking. They also just got Diami Brown.
Mm-hmm.
So that, whatever. So I think they're just trying to build through Brian Thomas and Trevor and hope that Liam Cohen can kind of unlock the offense, unlike
Yeah. Which is
past
probably a smart thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, Evan Ingram was good, but he was hurt, like, all the time. Christian Kirk kind of, his play was dropping, and then they kind of just cut some old
When are they
cap.
building their new stadium?
I don't know. I can look.
Because their new stadium was, like, unbelievably cool.
Yeah. Probably not for a little bit.
Yeah. I just know, like, the plans and, like, the renderings and stuff for it were freaking sweet. They just built a new practice facility, didn't they?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah. The Jags are on the up. They're on the up and up.
Construction is scheduled to begin in early 2025, with the team playing in Jacksonville under reduced capacity in 2025 and 2026.
So, like, 27 probably?
Yeah.
Okay. They're on the up and up. New stadium coming in a few years. New practice facility. You know, new head coach.
They just really need Trevor Lawrence to like start,
up.
hitting his stride.
Get back to how he played the year they went to the divisional round. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think that's what they think. They're hoping that Liam Cohen can kind of unlock him because he's more of an offensive coach.
Yeah.
And he did that with Baker and guys like that.
Well, Trevor Lawrence has had so much turmoil since he's gotten in the NFL. I mean, his head coach for the first several weeks of his NFL career was Urban Meyer, who was like historically bad.
Yeah.
And then you went to Doug Peterson, who was decent for a little while, and now he's on Liam Cohen. So it's like there's just been a lot of change, and there hasn't been a lot of stability in his career yet. But I still think he's a talented player.
Yeah, no, I do too. I think he still has like the potential to be in that
And he's also one of those guys who's young too. I mean, is he even 26 yet?
I don't know.
Because I'm pretty sure he got drafted at like 21. Like he was a younger.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I definitely think he, with the right coaching and stuff, could definitely still become like that generational prospect type quarterback that we saw when he was being drafted.
I don't think he'll ever reach the point that people expected him to reach, but I think that he could at least be like I think he could get into
He's 25.
Okay, yeah, so he's a young guy. Yeah, I don't think that he'll ever be the type of player that people thought he would be, but I think that he very well could get himself like firmly into the top 10 in the league.
Yeah.
I would
I
say.
mean, Brian Thomas definitely helps. He had a huge rookie year. He'll probably just
Mhm.
only get better.
Yeah.
And they probably wouldn't hurt them to get another weapon.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. Get another receiver. Who they have at running back? Travis Etienne, who did not play well this year, and then who's the other guy they have? Etienne and what's his name? You had him in
Tank Bigsby.
Tank Bigsby. That's right. Yeah. I mean, it's a decent duo. I mean, as long as Travis Etienne, comes back to how he was 2 years ago and kind of just forgets about whatever the heck this last season was.
Yeah.
You got a decent running back duo. I mean, I don't. Yeah, they're gonna need to get some receivers in there for sure. I mean, Brian Thomas is all they have. I don't even know another receiver on that team, to be truthfully honest with you. I also have no clue who their tight end is now. So, they're gonna need some retooling on the offensive skill position wise. But I think you got a decent running back duo, and you got your franchise quarterback, so you can build around him.
Yeah.
With the right coach and the right scheme and stuff. I mean, I think that they can succeed still.
Yeah, no, I agree. Maybe we could see what their depth chart's looking like.
Yeah, because I don't even know who they're like. I have
So
no
wide
clue.
receivers are Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis, and De'Ami Brown.
That's right. They have Gabe Davis.
Then they have Britton Strange as their tight end.
I don't think any of those guys that you named off, except for Brian Thomas, really are going to move the needle though.
No, not at all.
I mean, Gabe Davis could be a decent 3,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're going to need to get a tight end for sure.
Well, speaking of a team that added a wide receiver, the Rams a couple days ago, or I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. They
got
traded. Yeah.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, that's I would say it's a good move. I just
I mean, you're swapping Cup with Adams.
well, his Cup's not guaranteed to leave though, right?
Yeah, it's pretty likely.
But he hasn't yet.
No, but I would be shocked if he's on the team going into the season.
I wish they'd keep him, man. They were do you realize how close they were to beating the Eagles? They were in the red zone to score the game-winning touchdown on the last drive of the game, and they went 4 and out in the red zone in a blizzard, mind you. If they would have won that game, who's to say they wouldn't have went to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. They were the only team that actually gave the Eagles a game in the entire playoffs, including the Super Bowl. So I'm just run it back run it back.
Yeah, I think it's just Cup's age, his injury history, his production not being as great.
When he played last year, he was phenomenal.
Yeah, but I think I think he's a pretty big cap hit too. I think they're paying him 20-something mil or whatever. So
Yeah.
and they're kind of a team that has holes and they don't have a lot of cap space because they're paying a lot of guys.
Do they have holes though? I mean, their defense was very good. They got a young defense. Jared Verse was phenomenal. Their O line's decent. Matt Stafford's coming back. Puka Nakua's there. Kyron Williams is gross. They got a great. I mean, he's young.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anyone really thinks that they're gonna be Super Bowl team anytime soon.
I don't know, man. They were pretty. I don't know. I'm a big fan of the Rams, man. I think that they're in a position to contend for a Super Bowl still.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. I like the Rams. I wish they'd run it back with Cooper Kupp, but I mean, because then you're running Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, and Puka Nacua. That's pretty.
I mean, since 2021, Cup's played in 9 games, 12 games, 12 games. So he's just been hurt.
Yeah.
And he's put up 14 touchdowns or something.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess if you do get rid of Cooper Kupp, then you're swapping him with Devontae Adams, which I mean, I don't think that's not too shabby of a swap. I mean, I think Devontae Adams can definitely still play. So you're running Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, which is a pretty good receiving room.
I mean, he'll Puka in your slot, Devontae Adams on the outside with Tutu Atwell.
Yeah, and then you got Matt Stafford throwing him the ball still. So I think it's a good move.
Yeah.
But I think the Rams absolutely are still in the conversation for a contending team.
No, yeah, I think so too. It was just a lot. I mean, there was questions about if they were going to keep Stafford, and if they didn't keep Stafford, Cup was probably gone.
Yeah. They had a little bit of drama
They
there.
traded their starting guard, so like they've made a couple moves.
Yeah, there's been a little bit of drama there for a little bit, but I mean they kept Stafford. That was priority one. So I mean I think the Rams still could be in the conversation.
We have a trade.
Oh boy,
Texans traded Laramie Tunsil to the Commanders for a package of draft picks.
interesting. The Commanders are seriously going all in. Like they're just saying like screw the draft picks.
I mean they went to the NFC Championship last year.
With their rookie quarterback. So yeah.
So might as well.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So Laramie Tunsil is one of the better tackles in the league. 5-time Pro Bowler.
But now, see, why did the Texans do that? Their offensive line was horrible. What were the draft picks?
It doesn't say. It just says a package of picks. I don't know the
Interesting.
full details.
That's interesting.
Yeah, on the Texans side of things, don't really know how that makes much sense.
I'm not really sure where the Texans are going right now.
All right, here we go. Second rounder and a fourth rounder. The Texans plus a third rounder this year, and then Houston gives them a fourth and Laramie Tunsil. So they got a second, a fourth, and a third. For Tunsil and a fourth. So I mean,
I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know.
yeah.
I mean, they do not have an offensive lineman now.
No, they don't.
And the only thing they got was a couple of day 2 picks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
I'm not
and-
really sure
and
about
this-
that for the Texans. I mean, great. I mean, pretty solid move for the Commanders.
Yeah, I mean their offensive line hasn't been great, but that definitely
Yeah,
shores up the left tackle spot for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, on the Texans side, I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to free up some money because I know Tunsil's on a pretty large contract.
I don't know if I love it for the Texans.
He was on a 3-year, $75 million contract, I think.
Dang.
So he was, he was a $28 million cap hit. So
Yeah.
maybe they're just hoping that they can just move on from him and maybe try to round out the offensive line.
Well, but there's already been a lot of linemen off the board in free agency so far.
Yeah, but there's just so many out there right now. It's there's a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. It's that one's a bit of a. I don't know. That's one that I'm kind of like, huh. I'm not sure how I feel about that one, for the Texans standpoint.
Yeah, me too. So offensive linemen that are free agents still, like Cam Robinson, Steve St. Brandon Scurf, Ryan Kelly, Tyron Smith, Kevin Seitler, Jedrick Wills.
Okay, so I guess there's guys out
Trent
there.
Brown, Will Hernandez, George Fant, Mekhi Becton,
Okay, yeah.
Tevin Jenkins.
Mekhi Becton, he didn't get signed anywhere yet.
Nope. So, yeah,
Okay, so I
there's-
mean, yeah, I guess there's.
there's still a decent amount of
Yeah, there's-
quality starters still left.
Okay, yeah, I mean, there's guys out there. Then I guess that makes sense. The draft capital is a little interesting. Just a couple of day 2 picks, like
Yeah, I mean that's probably the most you're gonna get out of an offensive tackle, honestly.
you don't think you can get like a late first?
I don't know what the offensive tackle market is, honestly. But I'm not. I mean, if you can't get a first for like a wide receiver
That's true, I guess.
or like a quarterback, like you're probably not gonna get that for all offensive.
That's true. First round picks are like apparently highly coveted right now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I mean, for some of these guys though, it's like, I mean, like there are some guys where it's like he's probably worthy of a first, and you're only getting like a third for him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I find the draft pick like market to be a little interesting at this current moment.
Yeah. So the second and fourth rounder for next year's draft. The third rounder is this year's draft.
I don't know if I'm a big fan of that trade for the Texans.
Yeah. I mean, this year's draft, there's really not a lot of offensive tackles. A
Yeah,
lot
but
of
CJ Stroud is just gonna die this year. I mean, they don't have a line.
yes, that is true.
I mean,
No,
I
I
guess
agree.
you just cleared up cap space if you want to go out and sign one, but like, still, I don't really. They gotta go offensive line in the first round this year. They have to.
Yeah, we'll see where they're sitting. They're at 25, so all of the good offensive linemen might be gone by then.
Dude, I don't. Yeah, the Texans are an interesting team.
Yeah,
They had a great rookie year with CJ Stroud. Last year they underperformed significantly with a horrible offensive line, and now this year the line just got worse.
yeah. I mean, guys like Kelvin Banks, Gray Zabel, Josh Connerly, Tyler Booker probably will still be around that area.
You might have to reach for one then.
Yeah,
I mean,
potentially.
because they need line bad.
Yeah, they need a lot of things. They need receiver. They need line.
Well, I think they can kind of limp with Nico Collins and Christian Kirk until Tank Dell's back. You know, you can kind of get by.
Yeah,
with
no,
those
offensive
kind
line
of
is
things.
definitely more pressing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
wide receivers also.
You can go receiver in a later round or something, but offensive line is like huge because I don't want to see CJ Stroud, just get banged up and
Yeah.
stuff, because he's a very talented quarterback.
Yeah, that's an interesting move for the Texans. I like it a lot for the Commanders.
Yeah, it's great for the Commanders, but the Commanders are kind of just taking it and running. I mean, the Texans, I don't really know. I don't know if I see the vision there for the Texans.
Yeah, no, me neither. But now that gives the Commanders.
Was their offensive line not very good last year?
It hasn't been great, no, but I think it wasn't as horrible. But now you have Larry Tunsil as your left tackle, Austin Wiley as your right tackle, who was I think decent last year. Um, then you have Tyler Bidaz or Sam Kotze's decent. So I mean, it's an all right offensive line.
Yeah.
They definitely. I mean, Tunsil should help them. I think he is getting a little bit up there in age, honestly.
Yeah, he's probably
I
like
think
30
he's
or
like
like late
30.
20s or something.
Yeah, he turned 30, so he'll be. But then the season starts to be 31.
Yeah, but I mean, like tackles can play.
Yeah,
Like,
they can
offensive linemen can usually play like mid 30s or so.
Yeah, they can play for a while. So
Yeah.
definitely that's a big trade for the Commanders for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting deal though. Interesting trade.
That is an interesting deal.
Yeah, that's odd. Yeah, like I said, I don't know how I don't know if I love that one or not for the Texans.
Let's see.
Just still waiting on the Bengals to do. It's like the stick one is like do something.
I mean, they brought two defensive tackles, so that's
Two.
I mean, B.J. Hill back.
Oh
and,
yeah.
this other dude. Well, this
You just gotta get your three.
yeah. Well, this guy said, well, that seems to take Hendrickson going to the Commanders off the table. 'Cause they probably wouldn't want to move that many draft picks
Yeah, that's probably true because then they would be out a first
and a third this year.
and a third this year. Yeah. Which that's probably true. Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, just freaking sign him, dude. Just re-sign him.
So this guy says, defensive tackle room for the Bengals at this moment: B.J. Hill, Chris Jenkins, T.J. Slayton, McKinley Jackson. So he said they could certainly add another in the draft, but in a workable spot. Attention shifts now to edge, linebacker, and guard.
I think at 17 I would go edge 100%. I mean after bringing BJ Hill and then this guy from the Packers in, I think that first pick I'm going edge, and then second pick I'm looking at defensive tackle, offensive line. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Jermaine Pratt's still on the team. He requested the trade. They haven't moved him yet.
Maybe they should. I mean, there are guys that are on the Bengals right now that I don't think should be anymore. Like I think that we need to make more cuts and trades.
No, I agree.
Like I think the Bengals should probably trade Jermaine Pratt, and I think they need to cut Zach Moss, and they need to cut well, actually that might be it because they cut.
Those are probably like the main ones.
Yeah, they cut well, Sam Hubbard retired, and
Hubbard
then they
retired,
cut
and
Sheldon
then they cut
Rankins.
Sheldon Rankins and Kappa.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess yeah. I mean, just trade Jermaine Pratt and cut Zach Moss. I mean, I think that's probably what they need to do, like cuts and stuff wise. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna have to bring in. They gotta they gotta give these deals done, man. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, nice to see some of these other teams make some fun moves that need to be made.
Yeah, free agency's always fun.
Yeah.
Trying to see if there's any moves that we missed from earlier.
Any other like big moves that we did not get to? Does your Bleacher Report have like alerts, like little like notification things now? Because mine just started doing that, and I can't get rid of them.
I don't know.
It's very. I'm about ready to delete the app because I can't get rid of them. It's very annoying. Like I looked yesterday and had 100 notifications.
Nice. I don't know if mine. I don't think mine does. The Jets, or not the Jets, the Lions swapped Carlton Davis for DJ Reed. That was a good dude. DJ Reed's a good corner.
Yep. I did see that they signed DJ Reed. That's definitely that's a good move for the Lions for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with losing Carlton Davis to free agency. I think that's a good move for the Lions.
Yeah, they kind of swapped corners.
Mhm.
Patriots signed Robert Spillane, who's kind of an upcoming. He's been really good middle linebacker there for the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs signed Jalen Moore to a 2-year contract. He's a guard, but the thing about him is I don't know if he's actually started games I don't know if he's really started much in the NFL, which is an interesting move.
Wait, who?
Jalen Moore, the guy that the Chiefs just signed as a guard.
Interesting.
I don't think he's started many games.
Well, if the Chiefs did it, it's probably a good move.
Yeah, well, they're grasping for straws right now for offensive linemen.
Well, yeah, the market is. Well, no, it's not. There's guys still here. Like you said, there's still guys there.
Don't have they traded Joe Tooney.
Yeah. Why did they do that?
I don't know.
What'd they get out of him again? Like a third or something?
Something like that. Okay, so
like
here's the full trade package for Laramie Tunsil. So Commanders got Tunsil in a 2025 fourth. Texans got a 2025 third, 2025 seventh, 2026 second, and a 2026 fourth. So 4 draft picks for Laramie Tunsil. It's not.
I guess. I mean, I guess that's fair. It's just you don't have a line at all right now.
Yeah.
And I feel that the line is an immediate need.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So it's still an interesting move in my opinion, but I guess, 4 draft picks is a pretty good sum to get for him.
Yeah. I guess he had a lot of penalty issues last year.
Yeah.
But he's still their best offensive lineman by far.
Yeah, and they didn't have anybody else.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's an interesting move for the Texans, for sure. As much as I would love to see them draft Emeka Egbuka and reunite him with C.J. Stroud, I think that going offensive line is a enormous necessity for them now.
Yeah.
I think any other route they go would be wrong. Personally.
Yeah.
Who did we mock them getting?
I don't know, let me look. We had them going Gray Zabel.
Okay, yeah.
Tackle.
Yeah,
Tackle / guard.
that's probably fair, yeah.
Where do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to end up? I've heard his names with like the Giants, Steelers. Where do you think he ends up?
Hopefully not the Giants. Yeah, his market's interesting too because a lot of teams that were like in discussion for him have already filled. I mean, like the Raiders got Geno Smith, so he's out of the discussion for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Seahawks don't need one. Obviously,
Jets. He wasn't going back.
He wasn't going back, but they got their guy. So, I mean,
Tennessee and like Cleveland will probably draft one or get Kirk because I think Kirk will probably he'll probably get cut here soon.
I think you're looking at probably. I mean, the Giants are open, the Browns are open, and then
Steelers.
The Steelers and the Titans.
Yeah.
I think are the four teams that are.
I think out of those four, I'd probably say more likely go to the Steelers or the Giants.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't go to the Giants. That would, in my opinion, just be a lateral move for him.
I think he should just retire. He doesn't have anything else to prove to anybody.
No, he's not. He doesn't.
It's just he's not very good anymore.
It's just doing nothing for anybody.
He's in his 40s.
I mean, he's already cemented himself as I would say a top 5 quarterback in NFL history. He's won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, just retire.
So yeah, I don't really know if
the Jets would grow like really like a legitimate shot.
Yeah.
Maybe going back to the Super Bowl because they built a decent team, but
yeah. I don't know. I could maybe see the Browns or the Titans taking a stab at him. I hopefully not the Giants. But I mean, I guess any of those 3 teams because I mean all 3 of those teams are in a similar position. Well, I think the Giants are in a little bit different of a position, but the Browns and the Titans are in a very similar position to where, like I've been saying the whole offseason, sign a 1 to 2 year bridge quarterback, take BPA at 1 or 2, and then draft a quarterback next year.
Yeah.
So the Browns and the Titans are in the exact same situation. So I could see, honestly, one going to the Titans and Kirk Cousins going to the other one. I don't know. What do you think? I think I'd rather the Browns sign Kirk Cousins than Aaron
do too.
Rodgers.
I think that fits well.
And I think Kirk Cousins could
I
still.
don't think Aaron Rodgers wants to go to Cleveland.
No. And I think that Kirk Cousins could legitimately give the Browns a decent 1 or 2 years of play.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like I think he can still play. Like he had a couple of bad. I mean he had a bad back half of the season in Atlanta, but he started out the season phenomenally. Like he was playing very well at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And I mean, he had a string of bad games. I feel like it was all very quick. Like he had a string of bad games and then they immediately benched him and now they're cutting him.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like it was just a very quick like reaction. I don't know. I think it was just kind of a knee-jerk reaction with him. I think he can still play, personally.
Yeah, no, I think he can too. I think he was hurt kind of the back end of last year.
Yeah.
And I think with the Browns, I mean, if they don't go quarterback in the first round,
Which I don't think they should.
Yeah, but with them re-signing Myles Garrett, it might become more of a like they could.
I would still go BPA. Like even though they
I don't want them to go BPA.
Why?
I don't want to.
Oh,
I don't want to
face. Fan? Yeah.
I don't want to face Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter twice a year.
Well, the Bengals are screwed anyways. Like they saw to that themselves. So I'm kind of looking past that.
Even if they were like a really good team, imagine if the Browns had Abdul Carter on one side and Myles Garrett on the other side. I don't want to deal with that.
It would be pretty insane. But yeah, I mean, if I'm the Browns, I don't honestly. I don't think that the Myles Garrett re-sign really changes the draft, in my opinion. I would still take Abdul Carter if he's there.
Yeah.
Because then you're getting an outstanding edge rusher who I think could be the next Micah Parsons. And you're pairing him with one of the NFL's best defenders, regardless of position. So I would love to see the Browns take Abdul Carter. And if Abdul Carter goes 1 to the Titans, great. Then you got a guy that I think is very possibly the best overall player in the entire draft class. Yeah. A guy that you're going to pair with Denzel Ward, who is aging, mind you, and a guy who's also going to give you, I think, solid rotational snaps at receiver across the side from Jerry Jeudy, who, in my opinion, is a meh receiver.
Yeah.
The Browns' receiving room desperately needs help. Their defensive back room could always use fixing, or at least depth. Like, I mean, who's their other corner? I mean, obviously Denzel Ward is still a pretty decent corner. I don't even know who the other one is.
I forget his name.
But like, you know, it's like that. That's what I'm saying. You know, like even if Abdul Carter is not the guy, you're still getting a phenomenal football player. Like you're getting a guy like who like dang near regardless of position is a very good football player. You're gonna get him to start at corner. You're gonna get him to start at receiver. Either one you want. In whichever one he doesn't start at, he'll give you good, decent minutes at the other one. Yeah. So, you know, then you bring in Kirk Cousins on a 1 year, 2 year. I would maybe give Kirk Cousins a 2 year deal, and then you would draft a quarterback next fall, and maybe have him sit behind Kirk for a little bit. That's what I would do if I was the Browns. I think that'd be pretty scary for the Browns with a team that has one of the best defenders in the league. And then outside of him, an already pretty solid defense. Yeah. Plus, I mean, you know, offensively, I don't know. I would say pretty much their entire offense needs retooled. But I think their defense you can win games with that defense.
No, I agree.
Especially if you get Abdul Carter or not but Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. Either one of those two guys, I wouldn't complain either one. I think if I'm the Browns, I will gladly take either of the two of them.
Yeah. I do think there's also a scenario where they do get Kirk and they do draft like Cam or Shador, have him sit a year, and then they become the starter. Because I think in probably 85% of mocks, I think they have him going quarterback.
Yeah, so, I think that's like the most widely viewed thing.
I've heard conflicting reports that they're like kind of zeroing in on quarterback, or that they're not.
I don't know, man. I just if I'm the Browns and if I have the team that the Browns have right now, like I don't think a quarterback is the way I'd go. I don't really think the quarterback class this year is that great. The quarterback class next year, I think, is very good, or at least better. So I don't know. That's just that's what I would do when you've got two guys that are sitting on the board that are like outstanding players at other positions that you know you could always use some help at. Yeah. Quarterbacks aren't looking great. You got a guy like Kirk Cousins sitting there. I would probably take Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, and then just wait and hope. You know, just wait for Arch Manning or a guy. Who else is in next year's class?
Grant Nussmeier, Nico, Arch, Drew Aller, guys like that.
I would probably wait for those guys.
Yeah.
I don't really know if Cam Ward and Shador and Jackson Dart are going to be better than those guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my thoughts, though. That's how I would rebuild the Browns.
No, I definitely think that would be a good route to go. I mean,
well, and the thing is, I mean, even if you win, I don't know, 5, 6, I mean, even seven games this year with the Browns, I think you still have probably picked anywhere from, what would that be? Probably anywhere from 5 to 8 if you win like 6 or 7 games with the Browns this year.
Probably, yeah.
You get a pick at 5 to 8 range. You could easily package that and still trade up to 1 or 2 to get Arch.
Potentially, yeah. You're gonna have to give up a lot to get Arch, though.
If you package like the 5th overall pick and a couple other draft picks or something, like maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends. It all depends on how the board falls next season. But that's what I would probably look to do. Is I would look to just take my take my beatings this year and try to get Arch next year. Is what I would do.
Yeah. No, that's fair. They also weren't they linked to Drew Aller a lot too in the pre-draft?
Is Drew Aller even good?
I don't think he is.
So I don't think that would help anything.
But knowing the Browns, they don't usually make the right decision
at quarterback, at least. Yeah. Well, if that's the case, they might as well just draft Shedeur this year. I'd rather see him take Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, though, just personally.
Yeah, no,
I think that would help the whole team more and just kind of prepare the way better for a better quarterback, I think, personally.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I think just going BPA for them would probably be a good move, but I wouldn't be shocked if they go quarterback.
No, I wouldn't be surprised at all. That's probably what they're going to do, but I think that it would be better if they went BPA.
Chargers signed Dante Jackson, corner.
Okay. They also re-signed Khalil Mack.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're going to be. I'm interested to see what they do this offseason because they got rid of Bosa and probably still need a wide receiver. Excuse me.
They still need. Yeah, I was going to say they still need a wide receiver
and running back too.
Yeah, I would say
they cut Gus Edwards, and I like
J.K. Dobbins,
but you can just
injured.
Never trust him full time.
Yeah. Sorry, give me a second here.
Good. I'm making a post right now.
Who all did I say is going to pick up that night? You said asked. Was that it?
Yeah, I think it was like 6 or 7.
I think it was those guys. I'm just gonna say those guys. Jeez.
Did Lucas put that?
Yes. He said, "Oh, by the way, top three duo in baseball this year, mind you."
I'm trying to see if there's any other notable moves that happened.
There really hasn't been anything else like super notable that I've seen that's happened so far this today.
Yeah.
It was a big day, but I think we kind of covered a lot of the really big ones though.
Yeah, I think so too.
We talked about where some of these teams talked about Browns and the Bears and Bengals and where some of these Packers, some of these teams might be going and stuff. So Patriots. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to see as we continue here, see what continues to go on with some of these teams that are kind of up and coming, and because I feel like we haven't really seen, other than the Commanders, we haven't seen too many like legitimate contenders make a lot of moves recently. It's really been more so the up and coming teams, which is still exciting to see that.
Yeah, let's see what free agents are still available. So Stephon Diggs, Joey Bosa, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Von Miller. Those are probably the big like 5.
Well, I saw that Joey Bosa is nearing a deal with the 49ers.
I heard that too.
Which I wanted him to go to the Bengals, but
yeah. And you got Tyler Lockett, Evan Ingram, Matt Judon, Charvarius Ward.
Yeah, Charvarius Ward is still on the market too. There are still guys here that could be big plays for some teams.
Chase Young.
Yeah.
Dre Greenlaw. Justin Simmons. I think Javon Holland's still there. I don't think I saw him sign a deal.
No, I don't think I saw him sign anywhere either. Yeah, there's definitely still some guys that could be big plays for certain teams.
Yeah.
So it's been a busy day, but there's a lot. I would say there's still a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean these guys officially signed contracts or like they're on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Like the new league year is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when everything's kind of set in stone. But
yeah.
But yeah, I mean overall pretty busy day. Got a big trade.
Yeah.
Most of the big free agents probably stuck, but here's an interesting.
Everything you want to see out of.
So this is a guy again, another guy that's closely related with the Bengals. He works for him. Not works for him, but he's like a beat writer or whatever. He said. Let me see what he said. He said something interesting. Oh yeah, okay. The team signing all these deals will regret them in less than 2 years. These contracts are insanely inflated. Let it die down some, then make some smart signings. Not being huge players on day one of free agency is actually good. Is actually good in my
Hmm. Interesting. I guess that's an interesting way to look about it. Some of the deals are pretty heavy.
opinion.
I guess that could be an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, yeah. Let me just double check to see if there's any other moves, or we can just wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
I think we hit pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think we kind of knocked a lot of the stuff out of the park for sure.
Oh wait, T.J. Slayton rated all defensive linemen. What?
Interesting. I'm just tapping the mic and watching it go up on the screen.
So, T.J. Slayton at nose tackle since 2022, 71.4 run defense grade, 61.5 pass rush grade,
All right.
20.6 positively graded play rate versus the run. So, good run defender. So,
Seems like a solid player.
yeah. I mean, they didn't have to pay a whole lot to get him. So,
Yeah. I'm happy with the move. I'd like to, for the Bengals, I'd like to see Mekhi Becton and Charvarius Ward yet,
yeah, that'd be cool.
and the big three.
I think Ted Jenkins would be good too, bringing in Ed Guard.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Well, Mekhi Becton's a guard, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So just bringing two of them.
Yeah, or if we can't get back to get Jenkins.
Yeah.
Jenkins is only like 26,
Yeah.
27.
Yeah.
He's still young.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing either of those two guards. Charvarius Ward at corner would be a guy I'd like to see. And then, I mean, obviously, the biggest thing is just re signing Jamar T and Trey.
Yeah.
So, if I woke up tomorrow morning and we had made those 5 moves, then I'd be like, all right, sweet. I think we're back in contention. But,
Feel a lot more confident.
yeah, but that's not going to happen.
Oh.
I think none of those 5 things are going to happen.
Yeah. All right, well, that's probably going to wrap it up for us today. If any other big moves come out, we'll hit them later. But I think for the most part, we touched pretty much everything. Free agency is up and running, obviously, and we'll see if any other big moves happen. I'm sure something will, because chaos always ensues when it comes to free agency.
It's always a great time of year.
Yeah. But we filmed a mock draft the other day, so I'll post that probably tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, thank you all for tuning in to the live. We'll try to do a couple more live streams throughout the off season. To our draft one,
That'll be a good one.
maybe another free agency one if a massive move happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
hopefully we can get the whole crew for those. But yeah, to wrap it up for us today. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed and watched. Let us know what the biggest move you guys thought was, if any of your teams are making any big moves. Yeah. So see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. See ya. Peace.
Good stuff. Real. This organization does not deserve Joe Burrow. How many people did we